Good morning, Colby. How are you doing?
Good morning, Arrow. I'm great. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Listeners need to know the real story behind Homebody, because this is what I call a Paul McCartney scrambled eggs, let it be moment, because it all started off as this and it has become this. I love stories like that.
I know. Well, to tell you the truth, it's a true story. It really happened. No, I'm just kidding. It's totally sci-fi. It started, I met this wonderful director, Joe Sackett, working on another movie called Radium Girls. And he was a second AD, I think, on that. And we just got to know each other. And he called me one day and was like, do you want to come on over to this house in Brooklyn and film this short film with me about a young boy and his babysitter and how much he loves his babysitter? I was like, hell yeah. And we did, that was called I Was in Your Blood. And then we did another short film together called Dominant Species, which was also about, which was also sci-fi. He's just incredible in his sci-fi mind, Joe Sackett is. And then I think we did I don't know if we did another, we did another short. And then eventually he called me and said, listen, I've expanded I Was in Your Blood, and I've made it into a feature, and it's going to be my first feature, and I want you to star in it. And I said, yeah, no, thank you. I'm just really, I don't have time. Yeah, are you kidding? I was like, oh, obsessed. I couldn't believe that anybody had ever done that for me. And I was like, yeah, where do I sign? And we filmed it over the course of a month, and Tre Ryder,
yes,
this great young actor who was in the original short, was perfect and still, the perfect age to play Johnny. So, and still so talented. He's incredible, this kid. So it was perfect. Like we filmed it, over the course of a month, and I got to watch Johnny for a while and watch Tre for a while and see how he moved and see how he worked. And then I got to be him.
Wow.
as his babysitter. Did I describe the plot? No, I don't think I did.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that happens is that there's some great conversation between Johnny as well as your character, in the way that, was he standing right there beside you and they had him mic'd up when he wasn't on the camera? How did all that work to where everything was like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? It was like he was right there.
Yeah. So I'm so happy you said that, because that was something I was the most worried about, was how I was gonna, if it's just me on screen with a conversation happening inside my head, I want to make sure that there's something dynamic going on in my body or in my face that seems to match up with what's happening. So I hired my friend, my good, beautiful friend, Stephanie Winland, to sit in the other room and talk very low into a microphone that was feeding into an earwig in my ear.
Oh, wow.
And she would do all the scenes in my ear, and I would respond to what was going on in my ear, which it's also a case could be made for the Eisenstein test, where, like, you shoot a person's face, and then you shoot a pile of food, and then you shoot a person's face, and you shoot a pile of blood, and you think you project, whatever you want onto that person's face based on what it's cut between. Do you know what I mean? So a case could be made for I could have just had nothing going on in my head, and something would have been reading on the screen. But luckily, they gave me the earwig so that I didn't freak out so much.
Yeah, I've been in television where I've had the IFB, and you've got that floor director that's speaking to you, and it's like, okay, I can't do a facial expression because I have a live camera on me. God, you must have had some Did you have a mirror in front of you while you were doing the expressions so that you could study your body language?
No, I guess I just trusted that whatever was going on in my head was working. on screen, and that when Joe Sackett wanted to move on, that he felt good about it. That's, I guess, what I trusted. But also we had a lot of rehearsal, which was really important and lovely, and we also filmed it in my apartment. Part of it was filmed in my apartment, so I had I felt comfortable. I felt like the set for Melanie's apartment was my own, so it felt there was a lot of space. Joe creates this really wonderful set where there's a lot of space for safety. You feel like you can explore in a way that, on bigger sets or on with someone that's not as attentive as he is, it can feel a little scary. And he's very clear about what he wants. He's very specific too. He's very he uses his words in a very specific way that exactly what he wants at the end of the day. So I didn't have if I had a mirror, I would never act again. Yes. let's be serious.
So you doing it at your apartment, did you have to send out little emails and stuff like that, knock on people's doors? We're going to be filming here for about the next 30 days. If we get loud, don't call the cops. We'll send over a pizza.
Yeah. I did do that. And I think I paid my roommates to move out for a little while because I was like, there's no way it's going to be good. Your rooms will be camera holding. It's just, it's just too much. I would like to hope that I did that for my neighbors. I think I did. Let's just say I did.
What if the tables would have been turned and it was you inside of Johnny's body?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. If it was me, Colby, or
it's you, Melanie.
Me, Melanie.
The babysitter gets this opportunity to relive a childhood, but it's not going to be in her body. It's going to be in Johnny's body.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think on the day in the story of the movie, Melanie would just be trying to figure out how to get out of there so that she could go deliver the baby that she needs to deliver. But I think, it's interesting because Johnny doesn't, he body swaps. He doesn't mind swap in this movie. Right. And what I would want to do is what I would be curious about is his mind, really. And what's going on in his mind and what he's thinking about and how he thinks about things or what his desires are. But if I were Johnny, if Melanie was Johnny, I think I would just see what it was like being at that height. Yeah. All the time. And eating whatever you want and it not doing anything to your body. And seeing what it was like. Melanie's also on her period at the time in the movie, and seeing what it's like to never fucking worry about your period every month, or not have those cramps, or how people treat boys differently to girls in the world. That I would probably go outside and be like, let's talk to me. Well, tell me, how, just see how people treat young boys compared to young.
Well, I totally get that, because my wife said that if we would have had a baby boy, she would have said, she would have looked at the doctor and said, pinch that thing off. I want a girl. I'm not going to raise a boy. It's just not going to happen.
Pinch that thing off. But yeah, I mean, it's boys are, I babysit these two kids that are the children of my high school drama teacher, who's, one of my best friends, and they're totally nuts, but I love them because they're just running around without consequence. Right. A lot of the time they're like, I'm not going to think about what happens when I jump off this ladder. I'm just going to jump off the ladder and see and cool and land. And that's what's going to happen. There's a curiosity and sorry, my thing just went off. I'm going to do not disturb. Excuse me. but like, there's a physical rambunctiousness that I wish I had more of, that I aspire to.
Well, yeah, because little boys, anyway, I mean, I remember, taking my Stingray bicycle and pretending that I was Evel Knievel and we were jumping ditches. We didn't have fear, but yet now at my age, I'm going, my God, that crash, I still feel it at this age.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
So what if meditation could be used to transfer the mind or the body itself? I mean, to me, that's, shamanism is an amazing thing, shape-shifting and things. And I think that might have been my draw into this story. It's like, oh my God,
yeah,
this is amazing.
I mean, I think we should all be doing that constantly. I think the pleasure of being an actor is you're always imagining what it's like living as somebody else. So you have a lot of empathy for people's experiences, like Ashley on The Boys can be a total bitch, but I think about what her job is like, and she's not sleeping at night, and she's pulling out her own hair. Like you're constantly thinking about why she might be behaving in a certain way, or you have a lot of empathy for people. And I think meditation has that power in its own way, I think if we sit and listen to our own thoughts for a bit, or accept those thoughts as they are, say thank you and goodbye, which is something I really need to do more of, you start to move through the world in a way that is not so I'm feeling this thing right now and I need to express it in this way, or I'm sitting in traffic and I have so much rage about it that I'm going to scream in my car, or like I'm going to get mad at this person and yell at them. There's like I think meditation has that power to be like, okay, this is the situation. There's nothing we can do about it. So why don't you play some fun music and like let the person go in front of you? It's fine. We have this, there's that great commencement speech by David Foster Wallace called This Is Water, where he talks about this very thing. He talks about, maybe the person who is cutting in front of you it has to get to the hospital, or maybe the person who's driving a big SUV was required by their doctor to be in an SUV because they got in such a terrible crash years ago and they're suffering from trauma and they can't get in their car otherwise. There's like all of these things where you have to constantly imagine about other people's lives in order to move through the world in a way that isn't going to kill you from stress.
I totally get that, because during the lockdown, I needed to be with people. And my wife looked at me and said, you the only place you can go to be with people is to go get a job at a grocery store. And I did. And it was the greatest lesson in my life, because when people come to my register and they tell me how how bad their day is, I go, I'm listening. Let's talk. I'm listening. It gives me an opportunity to be real with honest to God people. Because in radio, what do I see? 4 walls. But out there, oh my God, it's you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm an extrovert for sure. And that's an amazing story that you went and worked at that was good. That's smart.
I have to be with people at all times. I just feel like that as a performer and stuff like that. I got to look into people's eyes. I got to hear their voices. I've got, or maybe it's, and I know you being creative as well. You want to be able to build upon the relationship so that it may become a character one day.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Wow, I think I should go work at a grocery store.
So do you find yourself working with Joe again? Because, that really seems like there's a great collaboration going on here.
Yeah, there's a long history of it. Yeah, I would love to work with Joe again if he'll have me. I think he really creates a beautiful space on set, a very calm kind. I don't think I've ever seen him get mad. I don't think he's got the anger bone in his body at all. There's just no space for that on a film set. We're all working together to make something. And if somebody gets mad, it's like, now the space gets tarnished in some way, and he's just yeah, he's a really, he's very, his imagination is very alive. I can't wait to see what else he does. I know he's working on a new script, and I'm just psyched to see what it is, you know?
A quote was planted in me the other day, and the quote was, there's going to be 100 of you, but 50 years from now, a frame of you will come up on a movie and you will have a rebirth. As an actress, do you find yourself in that way, that you're always going to be present?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm a bit of a doomsdayer right now, and I'm like, well, what's going to exist in 5 years? I don't know.
Exactly. That's just the artist coming out.
Yeah, I really can't think about it like that. I think if I think about it like that, I freak out, and I can't be free on camera, or because if I mean, I come from the theater. The theater is ephemeral. The theater is this beautiful thing where you give yourself up 8 shows a week, every day. Mm-hmm. And the audience goes away and they take that experience with them, or they don't. They completely forget they ever saw the thing, or, you know, it lives in their own imagination, and it morphs and changes and gets retold as a memory that shifts. And there's something really beautiful about that, you know, but there's also something really like the theater that I've done. I'm so proud of the theater that I've done. And people aren't like, oh, when you were, do you know what I mean? Like it's not part of the conversation really ever. But things that last on celluloid are, and in that way it's scary. There's a different kind of, you have to open your heart in the same way when they call action, but there's, you really can't think about it being lasting forever. The only reason you think about it lasting forever is giving your all. Yep. You know? Yep. I mean, it works. Actually, I just contradicted myself. It works in both ways, really. It's twofold.
You got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Colby. The door is always going to be open for you.
Hey, thanks. That's so nice. You're really nice to talk to, that's for sure.
Absolutely. You be brilliant today, okay?
Oh, hey, thanks. You too. I love that.